Hey guys, July 11th, 2025 here with your after hours recap. So, obviously, the thing that everybody sees going up right now is crypto and a really nice gap up for my IBIT overnight. I did go ahead and peel a little bit into this strength. For me, I started buying a few days ago on Wednesday, so today's day 3. Go ahead and de-risk the trade. It is now a winner no matter what happens. Really nice action in this one today. I did go ahead and also buy some AG, the silver sector, fantastic, and this one really closed nicely. Silver, tried to have a shakeout a few days ago, and it held in there perfectly, tightened up, and we just broke out today on a pickup in volume. Really, as you guys know, I love these little flat pivots. It's the exact kind of way that I bought ARC, and that one kind of turned out to be a pretty headache-free trade so far. And silver, obviously closer to the 52-week highs. So breaking out almost into new 52-week high, blue sky territory, as some people might say. So really nice action in that. Really nice action in crude oil today. Those crude oil stocks. They were kind of standing out yesterday. They were all of them effectively were up yesterday, while crude oil was down 2%. And a lot of these names, have just kind of slowed up for the most part today, which I thought was great. Some of them continued higher. Your XOMs, your CVXs, your HESs, your PSX. Some of them just had inside days. Some of them just kind of kept going higher. But meanwhile, your crude bounced really nicely. And then obviously your gold did pretty dang well today too. So really nice action in the commodity space today. And, crypto for some people is considered a commodity, which is, again, really nice. And then on the flip side, you have some really poor action, and I mean shit poor action in software application stocks, whether it's CRM or whether it's Intuit or whether it's Adobe, or whether it's Duolingo, or whether it's what is this, PayX, Paychecks, or whether it's Workday. Or whether it's even Datadog on the news, effectively just rolling over right from the gap up, effectively filling the gap, and lower we go. FICO looks disgusting, where this thing used to be a super nice clean uptrend, and then all of a sudden you get on the backside of the move and this thing is just completely disgusting. Further down the list we go. Hubs, disgusting, and it's just the more you look, the more there is to really dislike in that software application sector. And again, a Palantir, it's now no wonder, when I look at this, I'm like, yeah, Palantir software application. And while the rest of the group has been bleeding, Palantir has effectively gone nowhere since, call it May 13th. You're talking just up a couple percentage points. Very annoying action in a Palantir effectively. So, hard to get repositioned into something like this. Yes, it's kind of just grinding higher, and just slowly, methodically inching its way higher. But really, shitty action. If I'm being quite honest. Again, even names like Team, and you've got just poor action across the board in some of these names. Autodesk, another one that kind of comes to mind. Shopify, another one that comes to mind. Just totally shit poor action when you look at this. I mean, this looks like Palantir, going back to mid-May, just completely piss poor action. Not fun to try and be involved in something like this, or try to get resituated in something like this. Silver's been acting better, Bitcoin's acting better, gold's acting better, crude oil's acting better. There's been a little bit better action in the solar stocks, but again, they're kind of just right back to being solar stocks these last 2 days, in particular something like FSLR, right back underneath the 200. Yes, some continued nice action in something like Futu, so that is very nice to see. This was a super big base breakout. Earnings and sales are fantastic on Futu, so and nice earnings estimates going forward. So nice to see that there are things working out here. But it's a super narrow market. You have to really be on top of your P's and Q's in order to kind of find your spots, and then try to catch a trend if you're a swing trader. Otherwise, it has been pretty choppy. It's been difficult to kind of hop back on board on stuff. And again, today you had really beautiful continued action in Nvidia. A bit of a squat late day, no big deal. I don't think this name could use a few weeks or months of sideways. AMD looking absolutely fantastic. MU hanging in there really well. And but on the flip side of things, it's like you can't love them all because your SMCI, just when you're trying to get situated, this is the action that you're dealing with. So it's like, how the hell do you try to hop aboard something and then it give you like a few day, multiple day push away from your average so that you can comfortably sit in it. That's been very difficult to come by. Pullbacks to ascending moving averages still look like the best spots to try and get involved. But again, there are some red flags, in my opinion, that are starting to flash. And you can look no further than the recent IPO winners like a Sezzle, right? And then, I mean, this is a pretty big in 4 days. 30% risk happens fast. Dave, uh, you know, risk happens really fast, down 30% effectively in 4 days. We've already talked about a Duolingo, really nasty action here. Recently for the cybersecurity space, Okta had the gap down on earnings and now losing the 200. While the market's pushing up to, new all-time highs effectively, right? Zscaler yesterday was really poor, continuation to the downside. PanW effectively literally went from almost an all-time high to now touching the 200 simple moving average. So it's like you can go from, oh my God, we're about to break out, to holy shit, we might go into stage 4 here pretty soon. So again, that's kind of the environment we're in right now. They're not making it easy to get involved in things. And you do have some speculative stuff that has kind of been leading the way. These blow off moves in your whatever the hell it is, the Tom Lee, what is it, BRNM or something, BNMR, is that right? I don't even know what the hell it was, but you've just got this BRMN. I don't know what it was. But you guys get the point. I mean, there's just some kind of insane moves going on out there in like these smaller cap names. It was like the one that was buying Ethereum. God, I wish I can remember it. I don't remember what the hell it was. BRNM. I don't remember. Anyway, I digress. So just to kind of point out that it has been difficult sledding out here, and again, trying to get repositioned in certain things has been tough. Yes, there has been some nice action in the crypto space. There has been some really nice action in cybersecurity stocks. There's been really nice action in the silver group. There's been really nice action in the gold stocks and in the crude oil names. But if you go to software names, it's been really poor for the last 6 weeks. If you go to cybersecurities yesterday and today, it was really, really poor. I don't know exactly what the heck is going on out here. I would like to, here we go. Now I remember, BMNR. Jesus, I don't know why I couldn't remember for the life of me. But yeah, BMNR. It's like you're getting this kind of action. This is like euphoria 2021 all over again. And then today, like even this INKT, it's like you're just getting this total stupidity, right? I mean, if they cured cancer, this is exactly the kind of move you'd expect. And apparently, they did something cancer related. I didn't look into it. I don't trade, these day one flyers, but congratulations to anybody who might have caught this move. But yeah, to me, it's a bit of a red flag when I start to see a leading group, cybersecurity, when I start to see a CrowdStrike crack, lose the 20, head to the 50, Zscaler crack, Okta crack, FTNT, no good, CYBR, no good, past 2 days of action. And again, the more I look in the software sector, no good. And by the way, I'm pretty sure we've all been pitched the idea that the whole software sector would be the sector that would benefit the most from AI, right? They would be the ones making your AI applications. Well, again, the semiconductors going up, they make the chips, right? And then you're powering your data centers and stuff like that. When I like look at a GEV and when I look at like a VST and I look at a CEG, and you're just like, oh, okay, all right, these are still hanging in there, these are acting well. Yeah, they're acting well, but the next leg of the AI quote unquote boom is supposed to be coming from the software sector, and the software sector is, that's not the bill of goods we were promised. It is acting like total shit, and that's just again being friendly. Um, and the more you dig, the more there is to hate. I could probably go through 20 more stocks that look absolutely horrible. Breath today was really poor. 73% of stocks were declining today, 23% advancing. You could look at a heat map. It was just pretty disgusting everywhere you looked. Again, crude oil stocks act well, silver stocks act well, Bitcoin acted well. Outside of that, I was hard pressed to find anything. Yes, Nvidia, yes, AMD, and yes, a handful of other semiconductors. But find me something. And I had a bunch of people say, "Oh, Ariel, well, what about Oklo?" And to which I would say, "What about Oklo? It can't even get back above its own 20 simple moving average. I don't want to talk about Oklo until it can get above 7/8 high and above the 20 simple moving average. Period." Right? It's like, as far as I'm concerned, this hit its left side peak. It tried to break through. It rolled over. It lost it. Yes, maybe it finds some support on the on the 50 simple moving average, but maybe it doesn't. I don't know, but Oklo sounds good, but the reality is they're not really moving. And then finally, the quantum stocks today. Your IONQ. I am short Rigetti. It was nice to see this one crack. Rigetti really for the last 3 days has been showing some weakness. Yes, a few days ago on the 7th, I tried to short it and I got stopped out, with the little V-shaped recovery. And then I started to get repositioned in this thing yesterday. And then today added some more and they were just heavy all day long. So at least something on that side of the market starting to work. So, that there's a positive there. But really should have maybe put a little bit more focus on these software stocks as potential shorts. A lot of them don't look good. A lot of them, in fact, when you even look at something like a CRM, this is stage 4 downtrend. You're below the 200-day moving average. You've had a huge move down. You've tried to recover with the market. You've gone absolutely nowhere, and you're a few percentage points away from April's lows. That is not good if you're talking about one of the biggest software stocks in the world. With CRM, software application sector, looks bad. And again, I don't want to make too much of a stink about it because it could just be that I end up bottoming it with all this negative talk. But the reality is too many of them are below their 20 or 200 simple moving average to think that it's not affecting a Shopify, maybe an Uber, maybe a Palantir, et cetera, right? Like the ones that look good are hardly hanging in there right now, or they are, but it's just like they're wearing some damn ankle weights and they can't really move as cleanly as you'd like. And it's good to remember that half of a stock's price appreciation is directly correlated to the group it's in. If you're in a weak group, you're going to have weak price action, which is exactly what Palantir has had, right? Yes, it's kind of begrudgingly going up, but boy, nobody who's actually long Palantir can tell me they've enjoyed the price action for the last 6 weeks. It'd be impossible to say that you've enjoyed it. Just colonoscopy, grind higher, colonoscopy, grind higher. And, it's just been effectively no fun to be in it. And Shopify effectively putting people through the meat grinder, trying to be long this one as well. So, poor action in that group. Cybersecurity is poor action, like I already mentioned, and I don't want to be overly negative about too much because it is indeed a bull market until otherwise stated. But it's good to just kind of recognize where money's going, where money's leaving, and where it's definitely been leaving is that software application group, and then starting yesterday, cybersecurity group. And then it's been going into silver, it's been going into Bitcoin, it's been going into gold, it's been going into crude oil, effectively commodities. And then we'll really see if semiconductors can continue to hold in there. I would assume they can until an Nvidia starts to act weak and lose the 20, stay below it, lose the 50, something like that. But the reality is Nvidia could go sideways for an entire month and there would be absolutely nothing wrong with this monster. So we'll just kind of take it one day at a time. I just want to point out exactly what I've been noticing out there, and we'll just see what we can do going forward next week and see how we can get ourselves positioned. I have a long in AG, a long in ARC, a long in CCL, a long in IBIT, and a short in Rigetti. So just take it one day at a time, and we will see you guys bright and early next week. Cheers.